everyone! A lot of you were asking what the difference between my modern hurdy-gurdy Norman and the Baroque hurdy-gurdy are. So let's make a tour from head to crank. The first thing that occurs when you look at the Baroque hurdy-gurdy's head is that it has an actual carved head, which was usual for the instruments of that time period. The head of the modern hurdy-gurdy was designed for practical purposes. The second thing on the head of the hurdy-gurdy is the tuning pegs. And on the Baroque hurdy-gurdy, you have traditional pegs that are similar to those of the viola or violin. They can get stuck at some times and are not that precise, which is the reason why a lot of string players have fine tuners. On the modern hurdy-gurdy, we have tuning pegs that are similar to those of the electric guitar. They are easy to turn and they are very precise. The second thing is strings. As you might have seen, the Baroque hurdy-gurdy has far less strings than the modern one, and the reason for that is fairly easy. Most of the repertoire that was composed for the Baroque hurdy-gurdy was written in C or G, and because of that, you don't need so many strings. We have two melody strings which are tuned to G. Also, it's the same G and is not an octave apart. We have drones, one in G and one in C. And we have the mouche, which is kind of a high drone, which is also tuned to G. And we only have one trumpet string, which is also tuned to C. I have sympathetic strings on both of my instruments. And this is not historically correct for the Baroque hurdy-gurdy, but it sounds so much better as you would have an inbuilt reverb in your instrument. The material the strings of the Baroque hurdy-gurdy are made of is gut. Gut is a traditional material for strings, and it also helps produce the particular sound of that period. I have gut strings on my modern hurdy-gurdy too. One melody string, the high G, is also made out of gut, and this makes it really crispy and clear, and you are hearable even if you play with drums and bagpipes. The rest of the melody strings are for the viola, the modern viola, and the drum strings are for small cellos. The sympathetic strings are actually the ones that you would also use for a viola d'amore. Let's have a look inside the tangent box. On the Baroque hurdy-gurdy, the tangents are made out of wood. This was the material that was available at the time and was fairly easy to shape. On the modern hurdy-gurdy, we have metal tangents that are surrounded by kind of a rubber or plastic. On the wooden tangents, the strings would leave a little mark over time, so you had to replace them at some point. This is not the case with the rubber metal tangents. They are also not that sensitive to changes in temperature and humidity, which of course is the case with the wooden ones. A tangent is meant to tune your tone like more precisely, so you can move it from left to right, and when this is the string, the tangent touches the string. And when you move it, it touches the string on a different point, so it makes the tone higher or lower. And both of the types of tangents are able to go from left to right or right to left. But on the modern hurdy-gurdy, you can also adjust how far the tangent is away from the string. So you can change the pressure you have to put on the keys and therefore change how much pressure you have to use until the tangent reaches the string. Let's get to the wheel. On traditionally built hurdy-gurdies, the wheel is usually made out of wood. Wood is, of course, sensitive to changes in weather and humidity. I was very lucky with a copy of this hurdy-gurdy because this has a plastic wheel as well as my modern hurdy-gurdy. So they both are not that sensitive to the forces of nature. But another thing regarding the wheels is that the wheel on my modern hurdy-gurdy is way bigger. And of course you have more way till you complete a round. The feeling of playing one round is totally different, and therefore the feeling of trumpeting on the instrument is also very different. Another thing is the melody bridge. On the Baroque hurdy-gurdy, we have a wooden melody bridge which is glued to the soundboard. You cannot adjust it in any way, and if you want to adjust the pressure that the strings have on the wheel, you have to put like little papers under it to make it lighter. On my modern hurdy-gurdy, everything is a little bit more flexible. You can adjust how far it is leaned forward or backwards, and you can also adjust the height of the melody strings with little screws. The melody bridge is not glued to the soundboard, which makes it a little bit more complicated, but also gives you more possibilities in adjusting. The tuning pegs you see in the front are the tirants, and with this you change the sensitivity of your trumpet. These might look like they are traditional pegs, but in reality they are made out of plastic, so they are very sensitive to movements, and I can adjust my trumpet really precisely. On the other hurdy-gurdy, there's only one because we have one trumpet string, and it is made out of wood, so it is a little bit harder to turn, and also the feeling of adjusting the trumpet is totally different to the ones that I have on Norman. Also, the temperament of the instrument is different because with the Baroque hurdy-gurdy we are tuned in a historical temperament, which means when you hear it with modern ears it is one tone lower, so you would hear an F. But for historical French people, this was the G. And of course, what is totally different is the body of the instruments. On the Baroque hurdy-gurdy, you can see we have a guitar-shaped body, which is a lot smaller than Norman. There were lute-shaped and guitar-shaped hurdy-gurdies in the Baroque period, and it is said that at one point the hurdy-gurdy became so popular that luthiers started to cut the necks of lutes and guitars to make hurdy-gurdies out of them. The body of Norman is a lot bigger, which enhances the sound of the low strings and also makes it louder. So you can easily not only play chamber music as you would with the Baroque hurdy-gurdy, but can play in all styles of music together with other modern instruments. If you ask yourself, I want to get a hurdy-gurdy, but which model should I choose now? I would always recommend you, if you are a beginner, to get a modern instrument. It is way easier to set up and to maintain, and you are not bound to only one style of music, as you would be with the Baroque hurdy-gurdy, which is mainly made for Baroque repertoire. But if you want to play folk or other styles of music on your instrument, it is good if you have like kind of a modern sound. Thank you for watching my video. If you like this kind of content, then please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and follow my social media. If you would like to support this content and also my music further, become one of my patrons. See you in the next video. Bye!